All right, here we go. We are coming to the end of 2019. It's your guy, Jeremy Long, along with the Sportsnista, Cassandra Cusino. Cece, how are you this evening?
I'm great. I am great. We have, what is it, 8 days? I don't know.
8 days or so?
Yeah.
A couple of days left in the year. And this is our official Festivus show. Now, if you don't know what Festivus is, well, you're going to learn tonight.
You're going to learn tonight.
You're going to learn tonight. Festivus is all about airing of grievances, and we got a bunch of them. And if you have grievances to air, whether it's MMA, boxing, hell, you know what? It's the end of the year. I'll let you throw in pro wrestling. I'll let you throw it if you are for impeachment. If you are, I'll deal with any of that. I bring it on. We want you to call in
tonight.
Yeah. We want you to call in 702-608-3259, or you can leave us a comment down there in the comment section. And before we get started, let me say how do you do and thank you to our newest sponsor. That is Mossberg Injury Lawyers. From accidents to injuries, workers' comp, and even wrongful death, Mossberg Injury Lawyers are the #1 legal team in Nevada. Give them a call at 702-222-4555. That's 702-222-4555. Mossberg Injury Lawyers. Thank you guys so much for coming on, sponsoring the show. You know what? Before we get to Festivus, we got a few news and notes to go over.
Do it.
Colin, do we have any Christmas type Festivus music we can cue up later on? Okay, we'll get to that. I just wanted to put that
Did Biggie ever
in
do
here.
a Christmas album?
Did Biggie ever do it? He should have.
I think the best.
I would have paid for that.
He probably would have if he lasted long.
Yeah.
I would have bought that.
Biggie is always in season.
Let's start out with Daniel Jacobs and Julio Cesar Chavez, the weight drama. What's going on with that?
Man, so Chavez came in, I think he's 4 pounds overweight, just about 4 pounds overweight. And Daniel Jacobs was like, listen, whatever, give me my money. And I mean, Daniel Jacobs has signed off on every bit of tomfoolery and shenanigans that Chavez Jr. has had along the way. So fight is supposed to be taking place in 48 hours. Man coming heavy in Arizona, he don't care. But the report said that he had to give him a significant amount of his purse. They haven't defined what significant is. Usually it's 30%. So I don't know if they maybe bumped it up to perhaps 50%. Who knows?
Okay.
But
well,
yeah,
Jacobs don't care, huh?
Nah, he don't care.
Give me my money.
Pretty much.
That's going to be an easy fight for him, I think.
It's going to be something.
Cesar Chavez Jr. just... second half of his career, is he even fighting anymore? Does he even care to fight anymore?
He just can't. He can't get right, and he's still kind of working through the performance enhancement issue that moved it out of Nevada in the first place. And this is I don't know how they can do that, given the Ali Act is definitely in effect. If you pop hot in one state, how do you move to the other? And the Ali Act is I'm not certain if it actually governs all combat sports, because similarly, do you recall last year when UFC moved that card, John Jones card, the famous picogram card?
Yeah.
They picked up and ran up the highway
to California.
Yeah. So if they can do that, I don't, why can't, Chavez Jr. go on to Arizona?
That was one of the funniest things. Like, oh, really? We're just going to move it to California.
The whole card.
Everybody. We're just moving it down the road a bit.
People came in, and remember, this was like right around, it was the holiday season, so people were coming to Vegas thinking, hey, I'm going to get this card, I'm going to have the holidays. There were fighters whose families traveled internationally. They had to be.
They were like, we're not reimbursing any of the fighters. No. We're not doing any of that.
There were fighters who their families stayed back here in Las Vegas, drove to see them in L.A., and then drove their butts right back down the highway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Chavez is tripping, but the fight's on.
Hey, man, fight's on. Jacob should get that. Should get that. Should.
He should get out there early. Actually, should be.
Hey, make that money. Get out early. Go celebrate Christmas. Right. Rory McDonald, the Red King, he has left Bellator officially and joined the Pro Fighters League. What you think about this?
PFL, man, I just can't get the whole Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler fight out of my head. So whatever he has done post that, God bless him. Because, I mean, you would think that you're dealing with scrambled eggs from the neck up. and if he still wants to fight,
Right.
he's got the heart to do it. Does he have the hands to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, man, because Rory came out and said Bellator didn't even make me an offer. Now, what's that say to you when he was the crown jewel of their signings just a couple of years ago, and then they didn't even make him an offer? And I mean, he captured their welterweight title, and what's going on at Bellator? That they decided they didn't want to be in that business anymore. And the guy's only 30 years old.
I think no offer is the offer.
Yeah, no offer was the offer.
That's the offer.
Which is nuts for Rory McDonald, I would think. But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't draw anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe he never drew. Maybe that's why the UFC didn't want him either.
Yeah. No dollars.
ESPN is returning their pay-per-view prices from $59.99 to $64.99 with the, weirdly enough, the Conor McGregor fight.
Yeah.
Are you going to pay those extra dollars to
Hell
see?
To the no. Hell to all the
Streamium?
no's.
Are you going to go streamium?
Oh, I'm going to see the fights.
We're going to see the fight somehow.
See the fights. But no, they're not entitled to another 14 cents, let alone $14 of my money. This is ridiculous.
Is Conor McGregor even worth that hike anymore? They're
This
betting
fight-
he is, but I mean, it's
particular
even worth
fight.
it. Yeah, that particular fight.
This fight, this one coming back against Cerrone, yes. After that, nobody's worth it.
$65. That's on top of what you're already paying for ESPN Plus, and I know it's $5 or $50 a year or whatever, but I don't know.
You best keep.
I'm not actively looking for those streams out there that you can sometimes find on Twitter, but
Periscope, my saying.
Periscopes and things like that.
Them dollars don't make sense to me.
Just don't click on the ads and you're good. Just don't click on the ads.
Because now it's like, pay-per-view, you're even looking at PBC, their pay-per-view is anywhere between 68 and 75, depending on who's fighting, for one night to sit on your couch and you don't get anything. Like the edification from like sitting on my couch watching something, it doesn't match.
Oh yeah, from the comfort of my living room. Come on. No, there's nothing else in there. Let's see here. Justin Gaethje, he did something, a bit of good news for those thinking that all we do is talk about people who punch each other in the face. Yes, that's what the show's about. But here's a bit of good news. Justin Gaethje, the highlight. He goes to two Denver schools, two elementary schools, pays off $1,500 in school lunch debt for them chitlins so they can eat and have that wiped off. Man, what do you think about
I think that it's awesome. So I was on the bad student lunch debt list, and because what had happened was my daughter was, I don't know, it's $2. My daughter was leader of the month, and I thought her leader of the month luncheon was on this one particular Thursday. And so she came home. She's like, hey, I had hot lunch. And I was like, oops, I guess I got the dates wrong. So she had hot lunch, and they didn't charge her $2. She had no $2 on her. So you know how many phone calls and emails and this has been 2 weeks now. I have calculated 14 either phone calls or emails from Clark County School District talking about they need their $2 back. Like, my daughter is like, she on a bad list, they're going to call CPS about this. And the thing is, like, I've had this $2 in her folder. She just been forgetting to give it to the teacher. So I can understand how it happens, but get on him, because there's some moms and dads where like, man, yes, that's too much to ask. Or like maybe they got a bill for $14. I don't know. A
little preview to Festivus coming up in a little bit. I am really sick and tired of the CCSD. It's run like a crazy house. It really is. Every time I deal with them, it's like taking crazy pills.
They're bad criminals.
Yeah,
like
they really
crooks,
are.
But they're bad at it.
Like there's situations that I'm like, okay, because you get the incessant calls about lunches and everything else in the world, and I get them too, and my phone's constantly blowing up with this stuff until it goes totally silent when something bad has happened.
Right.
Like when there's active shooters or something like that.
They can't tell you that.
They don't say anything at all. I often find out from my kids when they get home. Oh, they had us down in lockdown because some crazy guy was running around with a knife. And I'm like, you didn't call me then, but you called me 34 times about a book? Oh, man.
Or a Subway sandwich?
Yeah. And, if you don't live in Las Vegas, Count your
I
blessings,
just
man.
think that it's, a similar argument across the country. Public schools, they be trying a mofo. That's all.
Yeah. They trying to get these hands.
Trying.
Speaking of getting these hands, Hector Lombard and Joe Riggs are going to face off, and they are announced for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 10.
Yeah.
Hector Lombard and Joe Riggs. Joe Riggs is still around? That's my question. I didn't know that.
I had no idea.
I did
saw
not
you
know
put it
that.
on the script today. I was like, oh, let me look at this real quick.
I'm excited for the amount of violence that's going to be happening. Now can Hector Lombard really, make that transition to bare knuckle?
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting to see. And we have a phone call. Caller, what's going on?
Wow.
What's going on, guys? I want to get your opinion on the UFC 245 aftermath.
The UFC 245. That's a good question because we got that coming right up. We're going to break it all down right here. Let's start right now. Caller, what did you think? Number one, I'm going to stop calling you caller. What is your name, brother?
Kevin.
Kevin, what did you think of the main event there, Usman and Covington?
Oh, man, I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was a really good fight, really competitive, close fight. Exactly how I... wait, what's that background noise?
Oh, we got music.
On back there playing music, trying to distract people.
We put you to
really...
music, Kevin. That's how important you are to us.
Yeah, no, but no, yeah, that was a close competitive fight. It was exactly how it went. You got two high-level wrestlers. I kind of expected maybe a little bit more grappling, someone to shoot a takedown, mix it up, but, man, they went in there standing, banging. I saw Covington, he wobbled Usman a couple times, had him hurt. I thought he should have put the pressure on him after he did that, but he didn't. And I saw Usman, he was landing really clean, straight right hands, really clean punches. A little less output, a little more power. So I definitely see them. I definitely see them fighting again. I think they're the two best fighters in the division, and I see a rematch happening sometime in the future.
Do you think he's better? They're better than Masvidal?
Yeah, I do. I think their wrestling would handle would be the difference in that fight against Masvidal. But I will stay with Masvidal. I saw Usman. He got wobbled a couple times, 2 or 3 times with some punches and Covington's not known for a power puncher. He's definitely not known for his power. And I say if Masvidal can land, if Covington can hurt him, can hurt Usman, Masvidal can definitely hurt him. The only difference is I don't think Masvidal would be able to stop the takedown. I think Usman would have a different game plan. He would pressure more, put him against the cage, drag him to the floor, and kind of break him like that.
Well, as long as he looked out for that flying knee of death that Masvidal likes to throw at wrestlers.
Oh man, that's a one-off.
That was a Ben Askren special, huh?
He's doing that against a 35-year-old man coming out of retirement. He will put.
That's a good point.
He will put way too much credibility into that freaking that knockout against Askren. Look at what he did when he fought Damian Maia and Wonderboy Thompson. He got completely picked apart. He got outclassed.
Yeah.
And then he fought, who did he beat? Ben Askren. He was coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
And you see the way he's built. He was no way in hell ready to be a UFC caliber fighter. He was completely unprepared. And then Nate Diaz, he hasn't won a fight in like 4 years. The last time we saw him, he was getting...
Yeah.
Yeah, he beat Pettis. That was a favorable matchup because Pettis he folds against the cage, he folds under pressure. I felt like that was a favorable matchup. But even then, he didn't look too great against that Pettis fight. He was getting picked apart. He got wobbled a couple of times. So I didn't think that was too worthy of a win. I did want to talk about that fallout because I saw the UFC 245 and I saw a couple characters. They were bashing Covington. They were making fun of the jaw injury. Who was that? Rosie O'Donnell and Michael Rappaport. And people like that, it's just really rubbed me the wrong way because this dude went out there, put it all on the line. He, if you heard it, he wasn't like this. His shtick, his, I don't know, his kind of brash ego shtick. Yep. He wasn't like that, but the UFC they were going to cut him. They were going to get rid of him. and people were saying, "Oh, that's bullcrap. They weren't going to cut you. You were one of the top fighters in the world." But if you look at guys like Jake Shields, John Fitch, and even Ben Askren when he was in his prime, they didn't sign him. They didn't sign him. They have a history of getting rid of fighters with heavy wrestling styles that not really fan favorite styles.
It's not entertaining at all.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's entertaining, but a lot of the casuals, they don't really think it's entertaining.
Well, you can't watch somebody wrestle for 25 minutes. I mean, at a certain point, people are going to start complaining.
Oh, I come from a wrestling background, so I know how hard it is to take someone down.
It's legitimate discipline.
Yeah, so I could see that it's not as but the thing is, it's what's fun is when you got two high-level wrestlers who are competitive. What's not fun is when you see someone who doesn't belong in there that's getting out-wrestled and just completely has absolutely no point being in there against a high-level wrestler. That's what's frustrating and boring to watch. I could see that, but the thing is, the people were bashing Covington for using that shtick when they were going to get rid of him, so I don't fault him. I think he brought a lot of hype into this fight, a lot of attention, one of the biggest fights of the year, end of the year card. So people just need to relax with that. He went out there and put a great fight on. They both did. And I'll leave it at that. What do you guys think?
He definitely did put on a good fight, but let me tell you something. He said what he said. So you can't I'm not here for the argument that it's bad sportsmanship to say that he earned what he got, because he did. And to go out there and talk about people who have passed away, to bring up the train accident, to call Usman's father a criminal, and to bring up the penitentiary, and to say all of those things and act like people should somehow celebrate you because you almost finished the fight, FOH. FOH.
I got you. Well, we got more of that. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're going to break down the card a little bit more. Kevin, thank you so much for calling in, man.
Kevin,
keep listening.
Call back.
Call back in. We're gonna start airing our grievances in just a couple of minutes. All right, brother?
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot, man. All right, so let's get to more 245 before we get, because we could go on this gripe train. I mean, we could do this for the next 2 hours.
So
let's. I know.
And again, why do I come in here hungry all the time? That's my problem.
See, she's hangry, and now she's reacting to people. Yeah. All right, so Usman does this thing. He breaks Covington's jaw. I liked your question. How do you feel about the guy having his jaw wired shut? Did you ever send that video? Do we have that video?
Oh, you know what? I just
never did.
Texted it.
That's
to
all
you.
right.
We can.
Maybe by the end of the show, maybe we can we get over to Quan and show it. Yeah. But Usman was humble in victory, saying that it happened, and he's not necessarily glad it happened, but he's glad he won, and he's moving on from it. And super humble as a champ,
like way beyond what was deserved. I felt,
man. What do you think? Real quick, very quickly, what do you think about this wave of Nigerian fighters now? I mean, Adesanya and Usman now controlling these two high-level divisions. Man, they just seemingly came out of nowhere, even though it's crazy as that sounds.
I think so. They're very different, those two, to me. The fact that Adesanya has been so efficient as a kickboxer, I think that's a discipline that people have been sleeping on for a little bit in the UFC, and the way that he fights with such power and violence, and quality of shots as well. Like UFC. So Dana did say they could go UFC Africa. They could go there and put on a card. Hell, if you can go to New Zealand or
UFC, boom my A. Boom my A. Right. We got another caller, real quick. What's going on, caller? What's your name?
Not much. Just want to give my end of the year thoughts on the UFC product, if I may.
Oh yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Grade of it.
And what's your name? And where are you calling from?
Oh, my name is Chris. I'm calling from Las Vegas.
All right, man. Let's hear. What did you think of UFC 245?
Yeah, where you at?
Where you calling from? The bathroom, my man?
No, I'm calling from my room with my dogs. I'm going crazy outside, so kind of hard.
Oh yeah,
they hear noises.
Sure. Okay, what do you think?
But, just for an overall year grade and the year grade, I mean, I give UFC a B. You know, for the whole
Overall?
year.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, overall, solid B. I mean, it's better. I feel like the company is better this year than it was last year. I mean, we got Connor coming back in the early part of 2020, allegedly. We'll see if he actually steps in the octagon. You know, all the shenanigans. You know, we don't know.
Yeah.
We got hopefully the trilogy between Cormier and Stipe coming up in hopefully June, July.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hopefully we get the Diaz, that was it, Nick or Nate Diaz, you know, fighting. Hopefully he resolves his issues. But I mean, on the negative side, their women's division. I mean, Nunez is so much better than everyone else that it doesn't make it's not exciting anymore to watch
At
the women fight
bantamweight.
because bantamweight. Yeah, she's just so dominant. She's cleared out the division. That's like another what's his name that went over to one that cleared out division for 12 straight fights. What's his name? Dobson. Remember that cleared out the division he won like 12 straight fights in a row and he's fighting in one.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, Demetrius Johnson. Yeah. You know, I feel like she's done that in that division, and I feel like that division is now irrelevant. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, there's not
because
a whole
no one
lot
can
of
beat her.
competition for her, but I mean, everybody's beatable. It's just going to come down to the right matchup. I thought Jermaine did as best as anybody that we've seen her since she's had the belt. But Amanda had a whole different game plan. She said she wanted to actually go 5.
Yeah, and you got to, it's and you had your thoughts earlier about wrestling, CC. And this is mixed martial arts. I mean, you got to learn to defend takedowns. You got to learn how to fight and be active off your back to negate those situations, which I think is a brilliant move on Amanda Nunes' part to add that new wrinkle to her arsenal there, because she, anyone who stands and trades with Amanda Nunes is a fool. Okay, you figured that out very quickly. That's a quick loss.
Yep.
So the question was, how would she do on the ground? How would she do, under pressure? And she brought the fight to the Iron Lady and threw her down on the ground.
Colors.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The crazy thing is, here's what we're seeing in the ladies division, is that you had the women's fighters that were never going to do it because that's what Dana White said. Ronda Rousey comes in, and she is so much farther ahead than everyone in the grappling and the, that kind of look and everything. And so it took a while for the ladies to catch up.
Yep.
And now we're seeing the next kind of generation of ladies. Amanda Nunes is so far ahead as far as power and accuracy in those shots and everything else. But now we're starting to see the Bullet Valentinas and, and these ladies coming up and everything.
Suarez,
so
if she could stay healthy,
it's gonna be Tatiana Suarez, if she can stay healthy, she's got some power. And Macy Barber, she's a vicious little animal too, man. So I mean, we're gonna see this next generation, but right now Amanda Nunes she's queen of the castle.
Yeah, I mean, Megan Anderson is still out there.
Yeah, she's around there somewhere.
Yeah, she's still out there. That's
somewhere,
probably gonna be
APB form.
Be her next competition, although they were talking about a rematch with Valentina, so we'll see.
All right, Chris, we got to get to the rest of this card, man. Thank you so much for calling in, brother. All right. Let's continue down UFC 245 here. Real quick, we have a new, I guess the blessed era is over.
Blessed, it will never be over.
Alexander.
We're going to stay blessed.
Volke. He came in there, did what we thought he was going to do, and dethroned Blessed, and got that win. Uriah Faber, he gets knocked to the shadow realm.
You know
we
what?
had a feeling that was going to happen.
I didn't. There's no proof of this, but Dana said that he kept telling Uriah that you're old, man, 40 years old. What do you want to do this for? And I kind of think that they matched him up with Peter Yan to kind of to prove the point.
Yeah.
Like, this is a young man's game. Because, I mean, so there were I think there were 3 fighters sent to the hospital, Kobe, Uriah, and someone else on the undercard. I mean, but Uriah was down. I don't know if he had broken ribs or what happened.
It's like those jobs where your boss is trying to get you to quit. So they start putting obstacles in your way, like, we're going to make you get out of here. And you're like, no, you're holding on. You're stubborn like I am. I'm like, no, I'm going to get that unemployment, boss.
That happened to me one time. Yeah, I came in. I was in the leasing office. All the leases spread around my desk when I came back from 2-day vacation. I went on lunch break. Still on lunch break. 9 years later, I'm still on break.
Walk straight up out of there, man.
Perfect. Yeah, that kind of.
Well, speaking of Covington, he wants to match him up with Woodley next. You just got your jaw broke by Usman. Now now he's going to put you against Woodley. Come on.
It doesn't sound like Tyron wants to fight. I think Tyron wants to talk about fighting, but it doesn't sound like he's actually.
Tyron only is excited about money, baby. And if the money makes sense, Tyron will come in. He'll do what he does.
And he's making more so the numbers. So Usman got $350,000 to show, $100,000 to win. That was the same offer for Kobe. No, it was $450. Amanda got $350 to show, $100 to win, and same with Max. Mm-hmm. Tyron Woodley is probably making $500,000 to wake up.
His last few fights were, I believe. Right,
but just outside of with his other businesses, and you don't have to get kicked in the stomach.
Man, it's hard.
Why would you do that?
It's hard to be that focused whenever you're getting money somewhere else.
Right. Because most fighters do it because they have to.
Yeah.
Like who's signing up for that?
Was it Frazier who said it's hard to wake up and run when you're sleeping on silk sheets? It's hard to do that, man. Once you start some money, man, and then you're thinking, Gina Carano, why did she never come back?
Right.
Well, she was making $1 million making movies.
Figures, to get good food and be in your slippers. Like how different you feel when that direct deposit about to hit in 30 minutes. It's 11:30
You just checking your phone. You just keep refreshing.
You're like, I'm gonna have a good lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, no cat food for me tonight. All right, and then finally, Amanda Nunes lays claim to the greatest of all time status, which is weird since women's MMA isn't all that old. But is she the greatest of what's come forth?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
She absolutely is. I mean, and it's not just because she's a current champ. It's the way that she's done it. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she's shown different parts of her arsenal in every single fight. She took it to Cyborg.
Yeah.
She just went.
She was like, "You gonna learn today."
She was just like, we're gonna have a street fight. It was a brawl, and then with Jermaine, she wanted to go 5. And I also think there was a lot of respect for Jermaine. How many times did they hug during that match? A lot. If somebody is putting an elbow to the side of my head, we can't even smile at each other. We definitely not hugging. So she's a different kind of champion, whole different kind of beast. I mean,
she is, man, and she's so nice too. I think that's the crazy thing.
She's nice, but I did see her roar.
Yeah.
I did see her roar. I put up the clip, and Quan, I guess when we take a quick break, I'm gonna see if I can send you this stuff real quick, because I did ask Amanda. The question I didn't ask her. She was asked multiple times about Claressa Shields. And Amanda Nunes, the one thing that I've learned about her is she's not here for games and shenanigans. She's a cage fighter. You're either going to come fight her in MMA or you're going to stop calling her name. She's basically like, keep my name out your mouth. And she's like,
she ain't trying to hear that noise from Claressa Shields.
You know where to find me. Why you keep calling me out? Come to my world and we can fight. I'm not boxing. And she doesn't want to put on any kind of caricature or she's not doing a WWE style. She's like, I fight for a living right here.
All right, here we go. We are going to take a break. Like you said, we're going to take a real quick break. We're trying to get this video over to Quan to show you guys. And then we are going to launch official Festivus time. We are going to air some grievances against boxing, MMA, UFC, Top Rank,
and CCSD.
Andy Ruiz, CCSD, Las Vegas in general. Get ready. This is Levels. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back to Levels. We're trying to get this audio thing figured out, this video thing here.
Died.
Your phone died, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You know when that hotline bling. You know.
I know. I'm trying to get out of 2019, man. I'm so done with this year.
All right, so we are going to start Festivus. We are going to gripe. We are going to complain, and you are welcome to join in too. 702-608-3259. You can join in on the phone. Tell us what you thought about the UFC. Tell us what you thought about boxing in general. What grades Chris and Kevin have already chimed in, callers for us. And we are just like R. Kelly.
First?
We are going to piss on everything. All right. We are gonna,
Wait a minute. Like,
okay, I'm sorry.
No. R. Kelly's in jail for doing all that. Is all I'm saying. Like, so you can piss on stuff. I just want to make sure that we're, selective with, where the urination and hateration collide.
Come on. So, you know I got good aim. Come on.
So now
that's what my wife does.
I don't know.
I don't know. My bathroom's a mess.
It's off the rails, folks.
Yeah,
it's off the rails.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, so let's start with the first thing we put on here: BS scorecards of the year, and that could be MMA or boxing. What scorecards stood out to you this year that was just wonky all over the place, or judges or whatever?
The problem, actually, I just got a problem with the scorecards in general and how it is that we keep having the same conversation about inconsistent scores. There needs to be something that's actually freaking qualifiable in the scoring. Are we going to look at CompuBox and actually have that factor in? Because like the eye test, like some folks got cataracts right now. And I don't think we could trust all of that. You can't see. If you cannot,
Adelaide Bird.
I'm still mad at her. And she still got a job.
She still
be walking around. She carries this little purse. I don't know what's in the purse, but it's like this little, clutch.
Her marbles?
No, she lost those. She lost them marbles. But the fact that we are still allowing combat judges to go by the sniff test and the eye test, that's complete BS to me, and I got a problem with it. A straight up problem with it. And they need to quit. And even going back to Saturday night, do you know that Kobe Covington's jaw was broken in the third, but one judge had him winning that round? He was holding his face together. He broke his face, but he won the round.
You peeked at my stuff. What
the ham sandwich is going on with these?
Yeah, it's crazy. Real quick, shout out to Melinda, Sean, Steven. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I see your comments down there. And if I had time to type, I would. I mean, that's kind of crazy. The one, and since you took my Covington one, where they scored him around, even though he just got his jaw broke. Let me pull this up real quick. Even though it was technically last December, their rematch is happening this weekend, and that is Charlo Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Their first fight was crazy off the road. If you watch the fight, you kind of, if you were me, I went back and was like, maybe I don't know anything about boxing because these scores were all over the place. 116, 112, and 115, 113 for Harrison, who seemingly was dominated in this fight. Yeah. The fight stats backed it up. The eye test was he was getting battered around, but he took Charlo's and he took his titles, and now they're rematching this weekend, and it made me kind of go. But it was also one of these fights that it's also one of these fights that if you follow along on Twitter to anything, you see all kinds of different stuff. Some people are like, oh, it's 9 rounds to 0. Oh no, it's 4 to 5. It makes me realize one thing. I don't think any of us really know how to score boxing.
Not even the people who are paid to do it.
Not even the people that are paid to do it. No. And I think that's what's worse is that when the people that are paid to do it
throw the scores
are so crazy.
And then just sit there at the end and like have a debate like who won the fight.
We should debate after every single fight. We should debate like this after every single fight.
No, judges should get like
debate
you
class.
Should make notes.
Whoever makes the best argument, that fighter wins.
Yes. Go back to civics. Listen, you should make notes and then pass in who you think won. And if y'all disagree, come together, have that conversation for 90 seconds, and whoever's still standing, then their man wins. But that's just not far off from what they're doing when they're scoring the fight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
Like we can't even none of the sanctioning organizations are even having the conversation like what to do about the judging man.
Oh, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission? Pick a day. Pick a day, and if you have money and if you have influence, you'll get the results that you want. If you don't have it, you're not going to get it.
You ain't never
if you're Dana White,
here.
you'll get whatever decision you want.
But
if you're not Dana White in this state, you're not getting anything from these.
Well, although Dana
these
did
clowns.
lose on the picograms, but you ain't getting a decision if you fight
picograms,
Canelo.
whatever.
Canelo will
pulses.
always win here.
Pulses. of
It's
stuff.
like putting a drop of ink in a swimming pool. Well, what if the ink is toxic?
Okay.
Like,
Well, one time I licked an HGH
Yeah.
pill.
yeah.
That's why
I didn't inhale.
I did not inhale, and I did not have relations with it. But
Right.
worst loss of the year in your mind? Loss as far as fights, as far as promotions. Who had the worst loss?
Who
of the year?
this happened actually in December. I was just sitting here thinking I was going to move it. But Las Vegas took a big L when UFC moved the whole card to California.
Hmm.
There were people who had paid for plane tickets and room, and you know how expensive it is in Las Vegas during the holiday season. And they were ass out, basically. And that was such a loss, I think, not just to the community, but I think a big loss to those fighters who have families that were coming in. And you know what? It just pissed me off because I was ready. No, missed out on covering that card. So it's a personal thing. That's why I'm mad.
It's personal.
It's personal. Yeah, I know there's some fighters who took L's, and, that's their business. I'm worried about the one that I took.
That's fine. Yeah, hey, that's what this is all about. Me.
It's
What-
about me.
You've wronged me.
It's Festivus.
Yeah. This is what. Okay, for me, I'm gonna go to an actual loss, and that was Sage Northcutt. His debut in ONE FC. Remember, there was just a short time ago, man, when he was the chosen one, like Anakin Skywalker. Thank you, Quan. I'm gonna add that in there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go see Rise of Skywalker, like Anakin Skywalker, he was the chosen one. At 18 years old, the man was sculpted like a Greek god. He had all of these years of fighting and disciplines under his belt.
Gotta make your choices.
And he didn't exactly pan out. He wasn't a wash in the UFC,
Yeah.
but he wasn't, I guess he wasn't their next big superstar.
Yeah, sometimes you can be chosen and it'd be a wrong choice.
He goes,
That's
he
what
makes
happened.
a high profile move over to ONE FC in Asia, and then for whatever reason is fed to Cosmo Alexander, who, even though he's not maybe a well-known guy in the U.S., the guy is an incredible
Yeah.
kickboxer and Muay Thai specialist, and promptly gets
Pieced up.
knocked out in a
Yeah.
big time way. And so where do you go from there if you're Sage Alexander? Sage Northcutt, the once and future king of everything
Yeah,
in the world. He's an action figure.
Yeah.
I remember
well,
just
that's
like, I
what
think
happened.
last year he
was
was
like
squashing
rock,
apples.
Rip rock. Yeah.
And the ladies of UFC were all wanting to
Woo.
team up with him
Yeah.
for workout purposes and things like that. And now Sage Northcutt is, I think he's still on the mat somewhere. We have another
It's
phone
possible.
call. Caller, what's your name? Where you from?
I got to call back. I got to touch on this Sage Northcutt
Oh,
topic.
Kevin. It's Kevin
Hey,
again.
Kevin. I said call back. I
You
didn't
know
know
what?
you coming that soon.
Yeah, Sage Northcutt. The problem with him is he's a karate guy. There's no karate. You ain't Lyoto Machida. The thing with these karate guys like Stephen Thompson and Lyoto Machida is they transitioned to a kickboxing style.
Mm-hmm.
And Sage Northcutt, his style is just that little karate point style stuff. It's just not going to work. It wasn't going to fly. And I always saw it. Even you lost to someone like Mickey Gall.
Yeah.
He got dropped, and I wasn't too impressed with him. But he had the look, he had the physique, and so that's what people were looking in. I never bought into it. I knew he was destined to get exposed one way or another.
Why
My
do you
second
think
point I want to
karate
touch
doesn't
on-
transfer so well? Why are these guys getting caught?
Well, if they were as good as they say, they'd be in boxing. It'd be, you make millions of dollars boxing, and how much money have you heard a karate guy making?
I know some
I think that's
rich
really what-
karate guys. Nah, man, I'm just playing with you.
Rich karate guys.
Yeah, no. They drive Priuses and stuff, man.
I made Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. They say he's a karate, but he transferred to kickboxing. He was a kickboxer.
Mhm.
But my second point is, my gripe with the UFC is this Dana White building fighters, who he wants to build, who he wants to promote. With someone like Darren Till, you could see remember what he said? He says, I got plans for Darren Till. You could see he was fast-tracked to the title.
Yeah.
You could tell they wanted to make a star out of him.
Absolutely.
He didn't pan out. But even someone like Israel Adesanya, you could tell he had the same thing. He kind of got a fast track to the title. He kind of got favorable matchups with someone like Anderson Silva and other guys who are not really pressuring him with their wrestling-based style. So I feel like, and even this weekend, what do you say? Oh, Henry Cejudo, he should fight Jose Aldo, even though he lost. I thought Jose Aldo won. It's like, what are you doing, dude? That's ridiculous. You got someone like Joseph Benavidez, who put in all this time, a heck of a career. He's winding down his career. He's finally on the title shot at 125. And then you got someone like Peter Yan, who's been cleaning out the division. And you're going to say, Jose Aldo, he lost. Yeah, it was a close fight. He still lost. And this is the problem I had with the UFC.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is that a lot of these matches, I mean, the matchmakers sit around, and it's not just about who they think is going to put on a good show. It's also like, who do they think people are going to tune in for?
Right.
So it's casting, in a way, in addition to matchmaking.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So another great points there, Kevin. Thank you so much, man, for calling in. We appreciate it. And, we're going to kind of move forward here.
But I do have a legit, worst loss of the year. And that's got to be Andy Ruiz beating up Joshua. The first time. The second one, I'm not even going to count. Because what happened in the second one is what we expected in the first one. But I think Joshua took the biggest L of the year. And that whole him actually redeeming himself in Saudi Arabia, that don't assuage the fact that you got knocked down by the Marshmallow Man, who clearly cannot, control his sugar intake.
Worst matchup of the year for you?
We just saw it. It was Uriah Faber.
Uriah Faber, really?
Yeah, man. Because Uriah is 42, and although he's a spry 40-year-old man, he's still 40-year-old man. And that matchup, I think, was really set up to have him quit his job.
Was that Dana's hey?
Yeah, quit your job, man. Go. Get on up out of here.
Start making making plans.
Bad about it because he got beat up the whole.
Yeah, he didn't just lose. He got beat up.
He got whooped.
It reminded me of Yair Rodriguez beating up on BJ Penn. Yeah, it just went on way too long.
BJ Penn, in the street in Oahu a couple of months back.
Yeah, and getting dropped by some random guy, with the left hook.
Yeah, that could be.
For me, Canelo and Sergey Kovalev. Sergey, another one of those guys, man. You have the credentials, and we're auditioning you for something, but your part in this play is to put the shine on this guy. There was no way in hell this guy was going to win. And Canelo won. He knew it. I mean, that's how boxing's done.
He was waiting for the moment.
He wasn't fighting Dmitry Bivol or any of these guys. He was fighting Kovalev, who had already been dropped and started the tail end of his career.
He was already compromised, man.
Kovalev, I thought he got knocked out in his dressing room. And turns out they were sleeping, waiting for the UFC main event.
Right.
I was like, damn, he already got knocked out. They got him on a couch.
He was still asleep, even though the UFC event happened 3 weeks prior to that. He was still asleep.
In your mind, UFC's worst moment this year. Did they have a worst moment this year?
I don't think so. I really don't. And Dana said that they had their best year ever, and I fully believe that. Something that we haven't talked about a whole bunch is that UFC has that partnership with Aurora, and you saw Roar on some of the branding for 245, and that is their partnership with the cannabis and CBD company, where they are putting athletes in a trial using CBD products for recovery and injury, recovery and headaches and some other things. Haven't heard. I actually have a call out now to find out who is opted into that trial and what has been the progress so far.
Nice.
But the fact that they do things like that, and the fact that the Contender Series produced some really good fights and really good fighters, Punahele won his fight and just totally destroyed this guy. He had so much like energy.
You sounded really positive for Festivus over there. I'm just letting you know.
Right.
I'm griping at you.
Listen, I hate the fact
I'm griping
that
at
I
it.
don't have a problem with what UFC, although
Killing me. You know
that
what?
court case got buried this year.
Yeah, the court case got buried.
Case, it did get buried. So.
I'm going to tell you what about UFC is driving me crazy. They are keeping around a flyweight division. They just keep that flyweight division just so Cejudo can hold on to that little belt and everything. But how do you keep a division open and cut all the fighters that are in it? What is he champion of? Like, give me a champion for standing in the hallway.
Give
me a belt.
Champion of cringe.
You know, I mean, now they're coming up with belts, the BMF belt, everything else, man. The more Dana White hangs out with Shane McMahon, the more this is coming. This is turning into WWE, man.
Yeah.
It's getting just really cringy.
Yeah,
it's getting really, for me, it's getting a little bit too much. Okay, we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Jake from Florida. How are you guys doing today?
Jake from Florida. Jake from State Farm. We know you guy. What's going on, Jake? What's your comment?
I was just going to touch on the subject of these nuts and this.
Well, if that's what you're touching on, then you shouldn't actually have time to be calling us.
Oh, you touching on the subject of these nuts. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay.
Have at it.
I guess touch on your nuts, bro.
Thanks
for letting us know.
Florida.
Hey, man, Florida. It happens, man. Most cringeworthy moment of boxing. And it's actually not anything that happened in the ring. Even though there were a couple of moments, fighters intentionally getting disqualified. Things like on the Canelo undercard. The little kid, I forget his name. Errol Spence. That's just cringing for Errol Spence and his team. I'm glad the young man is okay. I'm glad he did not lose his life. But to have so much going on, so many positive things and being at the top of the world, and then put yourself in that situation where you're drinking and driving, going at high speeds, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever, and almost lose your life. You could have killed other people. To me, come on, brother. That's cringe.
Yeah,
right there,
cringe.
Man. Especially when there's Uber and Lyft. I mean, Quan would come to Dallas.
Around you.
He would Lyft drop.
Where are your boys at? They let you get into
your
that
team
whip
let
like
you do
that.
Your team let you do that, man. Come on.
What's interesting about Errol is anybody seen him? Is he legit? Is he on house arrest?
They have pictures of him out and about at different places. I think it's kind of staged. Let's put him in a.
Is it really him?
Is it really him?
He could be on house arrest and we don't even know.
Are you thinking like Tupac? It's a hologram?
I'm saying he could be on house arrest and he could be going to see his probation
officer. He's got a body
double.
He's got a body
in between seeing the probation officer, they do these quick little, photo ops of him and then send his butt back home. That's all I'm saying. Is not that I know a whole lot about people being on a house arrest, but I saw Ant-Man. And I'm familiar with how you can game the system. That's all I'm saying. And I saw Ant-Man
taught me.
I saw Ant-Man and a Wasp. So I saw that.
You saw it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for all of us.
That was fun.
I
like the little lady flying around.
Cringeworthy moments of MMA. What's your biggest gripe with MMA this year overall?
Yeah, my biggest gripe with MMA is how long the runway is for these guys, and it's mainly the guys, you don't hear from the women, to go down into a cesspool talking about people's religion, about their family, about, people who have passed on, being able to touch the fourth rail and act like it's just promotion for a fight. That's nonsense to me, and it's dangerous too. And I don't think you have to do those things to sell a fight. And these promoters, primarily in UFC, have every opportunity to pull them dudes in a room and be like, calm your butt down. And it's not, and I understand it's a fight game, but you're going to fight anyway. If you're going to fight anyway, why do you have to come out your mouth with these kind of things?
So basically,
nonsense.
Why is that your way to promote a fight? Is that the only way we have to promote fights?
Why you got to get it's not even dirty. It's crap. It is absolute crap. And that's something that for real legit has me pissed off about. Because when you hear it and then you have people trying to legitimize it, he's trying to sell tickets. Well, then you got your jaw broke. And then I don't have any kind of sympathy about it, if that's the case. We're not going to be able to pull it up, but I did ask Kamaru, I said, how poetic do you find it that his mouth is literally going to be wired shut for some time? And Kwame was in the room and, got some chuckles, but Kamaru was very dignified in his answer, although it was something very undignified that had happened.
Yeah, I agree. Classy way to handle it. What are we going to do? But it is fighting. I think it adds gas to the flames, man.
But if you don't fight anyway.
Yeah, but now more people will tune in, right? I don't know. I don't know. For me, you know what? Mixed martial arts fighters and their boxing call-outs. This whole cross promotion. Look, if you wanted to box, you should have been a boxer.
Right.
Okay, don't look over now and go, "Oh, those guys make more money. I should have done something else." And if it's funny how the dynamics were, right? So the men are calling out the male boxers up here because they want to box. The female boxers and Clarissa Shields are calling out the female MMA fighters over here to do it because they make less than the. It's weird, the weird dynamic that the female fighters in MMA make a lot more than the female fighters in boxing do.
Right.
Where Clarissa Shields is making 20, 25 grand, 30, probably more than that. But I mean, not much. And then Amanda Nunes is making 350 plus 100,000 to win. Clarissa Shields is not making that kind of money.
That is not at all. Terrence Crawford, he got $3 million to show. Probably got some bonuses off of that.
Right.
And Kamaru Usman got $450.
Nobody wants to see Jorge Masvidal fight Canelo.
Not at all.
The only one that wants to see that is Masvidal's bank account.
That is it.
And I like Masvidal. I really do. Honestly, I think he's great for the fight game.
But there's some other people I want to see
Conor
fight.
We were curious in the Conor McGregor stuff because it was, we don't even count James Toney and Randy Couture back in the day. Toney was way past his prime. He was, he was already punch drunk, and Randy Couture just drug it down to the ground and submitted him. But we were curious about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather and all that stuff. Now we have the answers. Nobody wants to see that crap anymore, especially not at 99, 95 like they want to. They're probably going to ask for and everything.
It's like the pistachio pudding on the buffet thing. You try a little bit. You're glad you tried it. It's over now. It's
like a lot of stuff.
Just don't.
Like a lot of first time things. Yeah. You try it and you're like, how was that, huh?
Oh, then.
Yeah,
especially
I'm good with
they're charging $64 or whatever it is now.
No.
Nonsense.
No. I ain't got that kind of money. We're getting to the finals here. Your turkey of the year. Who is your gobble gobble?
Oh, it's pretty easy. And it wasn't even close. I wrote down a couple of different names, but Colby Covington is my turkey.
Colby Covington is
absolutely. Yep. You fought a good fight, but you're still the turkey of the year, man. And let me just add another thing, because I've been waiting all freaking week to say this. A lot of folks are saying how that's not who he is. It's a character. It is who he is. There's been enough people who actually have that information who said, and as a matter of fact, I know somebody personally who went to high school with him who he bullied. How you gonna bully a girl in high school? What kind of dude is doing something like that? So this is who the cat is. He been this way. And I don't have any sympathy for it. Go sit down somewhere. Yep, you can fight.
You finding sources from high school.
And it was, I didn't even ask for it. I walked past there and she, she volunteered the information. She's like, look, my Facebook group is everybody says that I'm the only one who has a legit gripe because of the things that he said about me in 10th grade. I'm like, he was bullying you in 10th grade? What dude is doing that?
But was she those things?
But
was she those
you know what? Let me take this earring off because we're going to have this conversation. No, she wasn't those things.
How do you know? You didn't go to high school with him.
It doesn't
You
matter.
didn't go to high school with him.
It doesn't matter.
Come on, man.
It doesn't matter.
She could have been all kinds of things.
You a jive turkey. That's
she might have
all.
said something about his brother.
No,
could have said something.
She
Yeah, she could have called him a jive turkey.
No, she
Back in the 70s, you had to fight over
jive
that.
turkey.
Somebody call you a jive turkey?
Yeah, knock my mom off to my shoulder.
Yeah, knock your mom off the shoulder.
And call me a jive turkey.
My turkey of the year, T.J. Dillashaw.
What?
You come into 2019 as the champion, and in a matter of months, you get knocked out, and then you pop hot for steroids, and now you're gone for 2 years. Come on, man.
And he talks
Turkey.
so much junk.
He talked so much crap and got knocked out in less than a minute. And he's a turkey, bro.
That's why.
But there's so many. There's so many this year.
There's a lot of them. I mean,
Because you could
have been
honestly
in
go
that
back to
list.
Conor McGregor, who's a turkey
Was
every
that
year.
this year? Yeah, that was. Wait.
Yeah, he's
was it?
punching
It was
people
January.
and doing all kinds of weird
Man.
stuff, man. You know, he's got sexual harassment, assault
Yeah,
charges.
you know what? I'm taking it back. Colby is a turkey, but the turkey of the year is got to be Conor McGregor, and the drumstick on the cake.
She just
is
did
got-
it. I just swayed you.
Yeah,
Look at
the
that.
drums. No, he's still a turkey, but the turkey of the year. When you punch the dude, not only did he punch the old dude in the face, dude just ate it.
Yeah, the old man just ate it.
Ate it.
You see, everyone saw the video, right? He just, I don't think he even turned around. He was just like, hey, it's a great day here.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
or however they sound. I don't know. But look at that. Hey, if this was, you know what, going back to your earlier point, if we had to debate after every fight, I just turned
Yeah.
her opinion around. My fighter just won.
There's a lot of turkeys out there. That's the only thing you just proved.
It's a lot of turkeys.
A lot of freaking
A
turkeys
lot of
out
them.
there.
I could go to Andrew Ruiz. Say,
No.
Andy, your second fight. No,
Andy's
he
not
is
a turkey.
He is a turkey
He's
for
a
the second.
ham.
He is. Come on,
That's
man.
100%.
Bro, he
Coke.
ate the turkey and the ham
He's
and the mashed
all-
potatoes
he's all-
and the Popeyes chicken sandwich
he's the
from this year.
whole dinner.
I could complain about Popeyes too.
Oh man,
How you gonna have people getting in fist fights and not be liable
in a
over
line.
chicken sandwiches?
How you got people lined up for
I could
chicken
line up. You know
sandwiches?
what? I know it happened 2 years ago, but I'd line up against Papa John
And then
for
run.
his pizza.
Papa John a punk.
He
I
a punk.
said it.
Yeah.
Papa John a punk.
But all
But
these food places.
how you gonna run out of chicken sandwich? Chicken
How
is
do you run
plentiful.
how do you run out of chicken sandwich?
Chicken is plentiful.
How
in
do
this
how are
world.
people getting stabbed
I-
over a chicken sandwich? And how is Popeyes not
Popeye.
liable for this?
I don't know. Well, you know, I never tried the sandwich. You know why I'm not.
I
Trying
never
the
tried it
sandwich.
either.
You know why I'm not trying the sandwich farm?
It's pretty good. I'll give it to
Because
you.
you're
I'm not.
vegan,
I'm vegetarian. Dude.
vegetarian.
I tried
Same thing.
sandwich. The
Whatever.
bread was good. I had that bread.
Oh my lord.
It was good. The coleslaw.
Oh. Oh
Sometimes you gotta get what you got.
no.
Listen.
Coleslaw.
hmm
So you're the one keeping that junk alive.
I love coleslaw.
I wish coleslaw was
It's the worst thing ever.
I
slip
love it.
into
Without
oblivion.
mayo, though, I have strong feelings about mayonnaise. It is crab nasty, and yeah,
If they could Men in Black our entire society,
ugh,
yeah, and have no coleslaw anymore, just take it all away like it was never
why
invented.
are you mad about chopped veggies?
It's,
just
it's,
chopped veggies.
it's not the chopped veggies.
Without
it's the
the
way
mayo.
they've put everything together.
Yeah, mayonnaise on anything is just
Mayo,
nasty.
just mayo,
It's just nasty.
chicken sandwiches. It's a whole year of food
That's
gripes
all
and everything else, man.
gripes. Yeah,
So there you go, man.
we got a lot of
We
problems.
got, and my final gripe is this, and you touched on it. We touched on it. It's kind of been the theme of the show. Minus Festivus, it's been the theme of the show. Fighters and their alter egos. Fighters, Henry Cejudo, Colby Covington. You know, these guys that are, you know, even you could go back to the Ronda Rouseys and Conor McGregor's, and because Ronda Rousey was not like that until they needed her to be that way, you know, her
Yeah.
flipping people off and, you know, being unsportsmanlike. And I understand it's a fight business, and we're not here to see people be nice to each other.
Nah.
But these manufactured egos, alter egos, and things like that, it's just getting kind of, especially when you have a guy that doesn't know how to do it as well. You know,
Yeah.
Henry Cejudo is just, you know,
Did you see the latest
the
one?
king of cheese and all. Yeah, I get it, but
Yeah.
it's like, bro, that's I don't care.
And
for
he's
it.
not even fighting.
You're
That's
not
the thing.
fighting.
He's not even fighting right now. He's not even like being considered for a card right now.
I get that it keeps your name in the press, and I get it that it keeps people like us talking about stuff
It's
like that. It's
annoying.
just, man, every time
Enough
if
already.
you're a niche sport, and it doesn't matter how big MMA and boxing think they are, they're still a niche sport. And you know, you try to introduce new people to this sport, and then all of a sudden there's people like that. And Colby Covington is, if Donald Trump was a fighter, it would be Colby Covington, right? Or whatever that persona is, like whatever. I don't care, but it's man,
It's
it just drives
doo-doo.
me crazy, man. It
Yeah.
drives me crazy.
Gotta walk around with the poopery. You know that poop spray? It's called Poopery. It's supposed to be like the best like deodorizer for like the toilet.
What'd you think of that impeachment?
What?
What'd you think about that?
I think
What do
that
you think about that, Coy?
we're gonna be talking about.
We got about 5 minutes left in
All
the
right.
show here. What'd you think about that, Coy?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about other things. That's what I think. I do think some things about it. I definitely
Okay.
do, but we're not gonna air those.
We're not gonna air
grievances
that. Well, we're gonna
here.
go off camera for
We're
that.
gonna go off camera.
No, I need witnesses
here.
for when you murder me.
What the dude say? That called in from Florida. Let's talk.
Yeah. He wanted to talk about his
Yeah.
nuts, man. They got an ointment for that. I mean,
You need some salve,
need
man.
ointment for
You
that?
need like an
You need
aloe
something.
vera plant. You got like itches. You got itches.
yeah, something.
My biggest problem with all of boxing.
Oh, okay. We're
Or-
going back to boxing.
or
Just skipped it.
She's gonna
2019.
skip it
Oh,
entirely.
yeah. I mean, because listen, like the next vote need to happen in November 2020. So, let people who are paid to have that conversation have that conversation. Because I already told you I haven't eaten yet. I'm gonna just get mad.
I was just asking a simple question, like, how do you feel about your president's impeachment today?
It's my president.
And still.
My president. You idiot.
Hashtag and still.
Yeah. Nah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nah. Ain't
So
gonna be
you were-
able to do
You
it.
were gonna make a boxing point. What was that, real quick?
Yeah, my biggest gripe with boxing and promoters all year is the lack of vision. And although the worst
Are we
moment,
talking to DAZN?
I'm
Okay.
talking about DAZN, but not
Okay.
to DAZN.
Okay.
I'm talking to PBC, somewhat top rank. Although Top Rank, I think, is starting to do some things differently. But the people who were bitching that DAZN brought in those YouTubers who were not fighters, you know what, children?
Someone get her some food.
You know what, children? No, this is Festivus. This is what we're
Hey,
supposed to
you're
be
going.
doing.
You're
This-
doing
Yeah.
good.
This is what we're
Go
supposed to be
ahead,
doing.
go ahead,
But
yeah.
people who were complaining, oh yeah, I did. This ain't the show to be using the whole.
I mean,
That's okay.
Four-letter
Yeah,
word.
it's already done.
And
We can't go
here's
back
the
and beat
thing.
it.
you already had a caller that did it.
He said, what, nuts? You can't say nuts?
No, I'm talking about the caller a few weeks ago.
yeah.
Mr. F bombs.
Yeah, and the craziest thing, like my children, the babies are sitting over there, but they're not paying me no attention like
Yeah.
usual. So
Yeah.
She is.
like,
Now they are.
oh, she turned around, kind of like she turned around to give you side eye though. She trying to figure out like if she got a comment and
It's okay. You're getting sidetracked, girl.
So yes, so people who have
It's not good
problems
ball.
with DAZN bringing in the YouTubers, like there's some validity to that because those YouTubers aren't boxers. And
Mhm.
how you gonna be a boxer but you retired 30 seconds after your fight was over?
Mm.
But for the people in boxing who poo-poo the fact that we can do something different to bring in a different generation, new eyeballs to the sport, man, FOH to you too.
I like it. You know what?
FOH.
The YouTube match I want to see next? Maybe Logan Paul against. You see that kid who's making $26 million a year
Ryan's toy review.
reviewing
He's
toys
like
on
7,
YouTube.
man.
Yeah.
He's
Hey,
like 7.
he's a YouTuber, bro.
Ryan's
You get
toy
grown
review?
man money. You can get grown
For
man
real.
beat down.
That kid is making probably something close to 50 mil with all. He's got a licensing deal with Target.
Let me tell you something.
With
By
Walmart.
the time he's 18, that money's gonna disappear somehow.
Well,
His parents gonna be.
Mama and Daddy doing what
Uh-huh.
they want to do.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
He
but
needed
it's
a Rolls
whack.
Royce to get around.
It's so whack that we are charging $65, $75, $85 for a pay-per-view.
Mm.
And you can't figure out other ways to market your fighters. The promoters are in it. They promote events. They're not promoting these fighters.
You know what? Hire social media people.
They're not
Hire
believing in
content
it.
creators.
They're not believing in
Hire
it.
someone that
That's
shows
the problem.
that your fighter has some kind of personality that they can market. Okay.
I
Don't
legit-
expect Uncle Dana to do all the work.
Well-
He's got $400 million. He's got to figure out how to spend that money.
Figure out.
He's busy.
Figure out.
He's got 400 fighters on his freaking roster, man. He can't deal with all y'all all the time.
Well, the
Hire a
worst part
social
of it
media
is when you
creator.
get
God.
you get credible PR people who are working for these promoters saying we only care about the big ones, like when ESPN comes and we paid $300,000 for all these produced pieces. Well, why? Why you do that? Get with a content creator and you could pay them probably
You could spend
$10,000.
10 minutes with us and we'll get you some
Count.
content. We'll
Right.
get you some stuff you can share.
Right.
I mean, but then we come out and they're like, Well, we don't know about having our fighters on. Yeah, no one even knows who your fighter is, man. No one even knows who your fighter is.
And
Put him
if
on right
they
now. I'll say his name.
know-
Ain't nobody show up.
And if they do know, it's because the Sportsnista was out there trying to get that information.
And that's as deep as it gets
These
tonight.
nuts.
These nuts. All right. That was Festivus. I feel better. It's
I
like
do.
cathartic.
I absolutely do
I feel better.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go eat something now.
Did the little girl slip into the camera?
I'm gonna eat a peach.
You know what? You about to go see, what's it called? The Last Jedi?
Something. What is it? The
The
Rise
last-
of Skywalker.
the last
The rise
president.
of
The last president. Of
man.
45.
The rate we're going.
45 and still.
The rate
And
we're going.
still.
We could burn this mug
And
completely
still
down.
the fighting champion.
God.
Oh my gosh, what a world we are living in. The 2020 is going to be crazy.
Man, it's gonna be crazy.
Like 2019 was fun. 2020 is going to be even funner.
Woohoo!
So next week, I think we'll do some year-end
yeah.
something. It won't be Festivus. It'll be a
No.
little bit nicer.
It'll be joyous.
I will bring my nuts.
Yeah.
Cece will bring herself and her
Yeah,
usual
you
opinions.
know, Yeah.
And Juan, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
doing what you
Happy,
do.
merry everything.
Merry everything, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah.
Hanukkah starts on the 25th.
Festivus for those who actually
Festivus,
do
For
celebrate
the
it.
rest of us,
And for the people in Florida, you're nuts.
you're nuts.
So I'm Jeremy Long. She's the Sportsnista. He's Quan59. We'll see you next week.
Deuce.